I think a lot of times when people come in, the two major things they're worried about is, or wondering really, is what is matchmaking? What's the difference? I'm not really sure how this works. Because, they've seen the TV shows and everything, which, a lot of that is for TV. But, now we're talking about their personal life. So, they're kind of curious, how's it going to help me? It's not going to be like all that crazy stuff on TV, right? So the other thing I think they're worried about is, what kind of people come to a matchmaker. But the best way to answer that is, hey, you're here, so people like you come here. It's a great way to meet sincere people. Most matchmakers, we focus on developing relationships with our clients. We try to develop a good one-on-one relationship with our client and assess their goal, which should be a long-term relationship or marriage eventually. And we try to focus on that with them as a team. So it's almost like they have a personal headhunter for their love life. Online sites, I think they used to be great, but not so much anymore because people have realized, nobody monitors it. And, I think eventually it will be, but I could go on there and create a profile and put a picture of me with a full head of hair. And then I show up on the date and you're like, oh my gosh, who are you? But people know that you can be anybody you want to be on the internet. And also it's a little scary. In the past 10 years, I think it is, there's been over 1,600 homicides from online dating. And I think that, people need to be a little more cautious. And, somebody could get out of prison and they've been there for 10 years and they go online, create a profile, and you're on a date with them and you don't know until possibly it's too late. So I think going to a matchmaker is a lot more personal because we're going to meet with everybody, make sure they are who they say they are. We do screen people, and if we don't like them, because we're going to turn them away because we know our clients aren't going to like them if there's something suspicious or anything as well. I'll tell you, it's very complicated because online dating helps people develop a lot of bad dating habits. Because if you really look at online dating, you pay monthly, and they want you to keep going because that's how they're going to make their money. And there's so many fake profiles out there. You don't even know if you're really talking to a real person. You can send out 100 emails and maybe get 10 responses. Why is that? It's unusual. And I think that online dating, it also teaches people to focus in on things that aren't as important, such as age or height and things like that. In going to a matchmaker, we try to focus on what is important, what's going to help you maintain that relationship. Online dating also, it teaches you somebody's on the other end. There's always what's over the fence. Even though you could go out on a date and have a great time with somebody and you think it was great, well, you both go home, you get back on the internet, and then you got an email from somebody else. Next thing you know, you're going out with that other person. Even though the perfect person, you just went on a date. You needed that second date. And people I don't think people really know how to have a second date anymore. So there's a lot of coaching involved when they come to us to try to help them get the second dates, and do the right things. We meet with all of our clients, and they would sit down with a matchmaker. We're going to find out about them and what they're looking for. We're going to kind of cover their past relationships, kind of go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and look at see if there's any common denominators of issues in the past that we can try to avoid for the future. And then we're going to show them our system and how we go about matching them. Typically, we'll send you somebody every 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes a little bit longer, it just depends, because we're going to put time and effort into searching for somebody for you, as opposed to just shooting you somebody and having you go out and keeping you busy. So quality over quantity. Having patience with a matchmaker is really important because, we're not online dating. We're not trying to give you that instant gratification or somebody to just go out this Friday night with. We're looking for somebody that you can spend the rest of your life with. Somebody that's going to be there for you, to hold you, to hug you, and, to be there in good times and bad times, because that's what we're all looking for, and deep down inside, that's what we need, and that's why people are coming to us, and those are the people that we want, because that's what makes us successful. So, if you're only meeting people that are sincere and serious about wanting to develop a relationship, it's really a matter of time. about 80% of our clients are professionals, and they don't have a lot of time to go out to look to meet people. So, you know, when they have time off, they'd rather have somebody to go out with than have to go sit on the internet for hours or keep wasting time with the wrong people. But I think the biggest key is that, you know, we do turn down a good chunk of people that come in because they aren't what we're looking for, and we don't think that they're sincere, or they have unrealistic expectations. So by coming to us and meeting the clients that we do have, you're pretty much ensured that you're meeting people that are sincere about what they want and what they're looking for. That's a great question, and I think every person that comes in asks that. And having been in the business for over 20 years, I do believe that anybody that does answer that question with a number is probably not being honest, because it's too hard to keep track of. When we match people and they like each other and they continue to date for a month or two, they'll put their account on hold. And once they put their account on hold, they kind of go in this bucket and we kind of forget about them because we're constantly focused on our active clients and looking to match new people. And, you know, I could maybe hear from somebody in that bucket 2 years later that they got married and had a baby. But it's just too hard to keep track of because there's so many people that are going on hold, off hold, on hold, off hold, that it's a hard number to give. You know, my personal philosophy is if you're with a matchmaker, we should be able to get you in a relationship within 2 years. If it's more than 2 years, it's probably not us. As long as you listen to our coaching and our advice and you're taking that to heart and applying the systems that we have to find success, then you can't help but find success. We do have the occasional disgruntled client, and I think that sometimes it mainly is because they're basing what they want us to do to what the internet promises a lot of times that they didn't find there. And typically it's because they're not giving us feedback or they're not listening to our coaching, because you know, feedback's really important. When I send you out with somebody, I need to know what you liked and disliked about that person so that I can do a better job on the next match. And also we get feedback from your dates. So we're going to take that information, and if we see a common denominator there, we're going to address that with you and say, hey, Tom, you know, you need to quit wearing your knee-high dark socks with your khaki shorts, or whatever the case might be. You really have nothing to lose, you know. You're still going to go out, you're still going to look to meet people, and, you know, why not find something that's going to be a little more systematic for you, so to say. You know, we put money into our education, and, you know, trying to get our degree, there's no guarantee that, you know, you're going to pass the class, that you're going to get a diploma. We put a lot of time and effort and energy into finding a new home, a career, a car even. But when it comes to our love life, we just say, oh, whatever happens, happens, no big deal. You know, but it's the most important aspect of our life, because having somebody in your love life, you know, truly does make everything it complements everything in your life. It makes everything else extraordinary, you know, and I think that you'd owe it to yourself to at least see what it's all about.